I'm Helen. I'm like one door down from Lexi in our Общежитие. And yeah, now it's actually pissing it down with rain. This is like, I'm sorry, but this is like, now it's like hailing. This is my mood summed up.
Hello and welcome to Question Sunday, where I answer your questions about what it's like to live in Russia / overseas / away from America. Yeah! Thanks to last week's video. It was very long. I appreciated all of the positive feedback. At the same time, since I posted it on Tuesday, not much has happened, especially since I've been in holiday. Russians have this thing where they like to have all of their holidays in the beginning of May. So May 1st is May Day, which is why I got off from May 1st to 5th. May 5th is Russian Orthodox Easter, which is super cool, and we ate a cake that looked like this. And May 9th is Victory Day. I believe it's Victory Day as in World War II, so that'll be cool. There's lots of parades, and the Russians love the World War II. Aw, yeah. So, talking so fast. I already made this video, but the audio and the video won't sync up. So, let's answer some questions. What is the strangest thing you've eaten? Well, food in Russia, there aren't many typical Russian foods. There's borscht, which is delicious, and blini, which is also delicious, and I think it's pelini, which is 3 times delicious, but nothing super strange. At most restaurants, they offer tongue, or stuffed tongue, which I have not tried. I probably will not, because I don't think it's as Russian as it is disgusting, so whatever. Also, I need to try Havas, which is a carbonated bread beverage. So, spelled H-V-A-S, for those of you who want to look it up. There is a Havas cart that goes around town, and you can go get your Havas. Little known fact also, word for bread in Russian is Gleb. I know this because one of my students' name is Gleb, and one day I said it like Gleb, and everyone laughed. They're like, that's bread! 5th grade. What has been the biggest culture shock so far? It was very difficult when I first got here to get around at all without the language. It's not a super tourist accessible town or Western accessible town, obviously being in Siberia. So it was difficult to learn how to use the bus, how to grocery shop, how to do anything. And it was especially intimidating because the people here don't smile very much, and Russian sounds a little bit angry until you get used to it. So I was pretty much assuming that everyone hated me and wanted to stab me in the face when I did anything. That was definitely a culture shock, dealing with 1, no smiling, and 2, having to lead my regular life in a country in which I don't speak the language, and I wasn't used to using a public transportation system. So, how has your experience so far changed the way you think about your future? Before this experience, I was definitely, I must teach abroad, I have to teach abroad, I have to get out of the States. But coming here has allowed me to see a lot of the good things about the States as well. It's easy to be critical in your own home, and of yourself even, if we're going to take this to a personal level. Because I've been missing the States so much, I have been questioning a lot about teaching there when I get home, and how excited I am to do that. Is West to East culture gradual? So the question is, when I look at the Western places I've been, being where I grew up in the States, England, Berlin, the Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, does it just gradually become more and more Eastern all the way to the Eastern places I've been, like Japan? Or is it like there's West and there's East? Is it gradual? A little bit, but at this point in our society, in our global society, with things like YouTube, I feel like everything is kind of becoming a little bit more melded. So you see all these influences. You see Eastern influences in the West, and especially Western influences in the East. But because Siberia is so in the middle of nowhere, it's kind of its own thing. There's definitely Westernness, but it's its own twist on it. You see people, you guys wear this gaudy jewelry and the track jackets, and the music sounds like it's from the 90s a little bit. And then you see packaging that looks like it's from Japan, and the recipes here are definitely its own thing. I mean, maybe that's just Northern Asia in general. Maybe if I went to Northern China, I would say, oh, this is definitely Eastern. It makes sense now. But from where I stand, Siberia it's a little bit Western, a little bit Eastern, and a lot its own thing. Is everyone in Russia a bear on a unicycle? Yes. Next question. What are Russian people like? So when I first got here, I thought that Russian people hated foreigners, they didn't smile, they seemed really rude, they were very into their own culture, and they hated me, so I was going to be very, not defensive, but, I had this wall up against, because I didn't want to get hurt or be screamed at all the time or whatever. The more I've gotten to know Russian people, the more I stand by. They are the most giving, toughest people in the world with the biggest hearts. These are the kind of people who choose to live in Siberia through the winter. The saying goes, the only way to scare a Russian man is to tell him his children will starve. They've gone through depressions, they've gone through the rise and fall of communism. Everything that can go through a country, they've gone through, and yet they continue to be strong, and they continue to flourish and to be happy and to create their own lives for themselves, even through these Siberian winters, which are finally ending. If you ever want a good friend, make a Russian friend, because they are the most phenomenal people that you will ever meet in your entire life. Literally, the most phenomenal people. What do you wish you would have packed? To be honest, I packed just about everything I needed, but that's because my suitcase is bigger than I am, which actually has served as a problem. So people in the STA program, follow their advice and bring less. There are clothing stores here, and it's not that expensive. Bring what you think you need, but bring less than you think you need. Yes? Yes. Good. I wish I would have packed an umbrella. I forgot bobby pins, and their bobby pins here look like this. They don't necessarily close at the top, but they are a bit different, and that's some of the issues I've had here where I want something, but it's just different here. For instance, as you can see on the bed, they don't really have a mattress, what do you call them, a mattress sheet with the elastic on it. You just tuck in a sheet, and that's your mattress sheet, which is hard for people like me who like to kick everything off of the bed while they sleep. So, I'm sorry. Are the people super attractive? Russian women are absolutely as beautiful as you think they are. Number one. They wear high heels everywhere. There is a lot of makeup, and sometimes that's a problem. And sometimes the clothing is a little different in style than I'm used to. It's a little 90s-esque. That being said, Russian women are absolutely gorgeous, yes. Russian men, again, gaudy jewelry, track jackets, and they look Russian. I mean, do you like what Russian guys look like? Because that's what everyone here looks like. Do your students speak English? Yes, they do, absolutely. My 8th form English students are almost entirely fluent. Every so often I'll say something they don't understand, but they can not only understand, but repeat back to me what I've said in their own words, or they can have a conversation with me, and they're very, very good at that. Mind you, I'm at a gymnasium for languages, so they're definitely above other students in the country, but for 8th graders, I would definitely say they understand English. My 5th form, I would put them at a Spanish 3 level. Like if I was looking at high school, what I did, and freshman year Spanish 1, sophomore year Spanish 2, and junior year Spanish 3, they're definitely fluent-ish. I've become the synonym queen. The thing about teaching foreign students as a native speaker is that they're very quiet and embarrassed, and they don't want to make themselves vulnerable or look stupid to a native speaker. What they don't realize is that I am way worse at Russian than they will ever be at English. So I've been trying to have them teach me Russian so that they can feel a little bit more secure with themselves and see, oh, it's okay if I suck at this sometimes. Like, everyone's gonna suck at a language. It's not about being perfect. It's about communication. And that's the cool thing about foreign languages and why I hope to continue studying Russian even once I leave here. So overall, what have you actually learned? It's very difficult to summarize what I've learned because it comes in so many different spheres, from education to how to communicate with people to what I've learned about myself. This hair drives me crazy every single video. Well, first I've learned about Russia. I've learned quite a bit of Russian. I've learned about the public transportation system. I've learned how tea kettles work. I didn't realize that they turned off on their own. In education, I have learned a lot about being specific with instructions, especially when every activity that you propose is completely new to the kids. It has to be laid out step by step by step. And this is also true for America, but especially when you are speaking a language that is not the native language of your students, it's important to really help them know where you're going with it. What is the purpose? What are they going to learn from this? And what are they doing and why are they moving? I've learned that I love teaching middle school. I never thought before that I would ever want to teach in a middle school setting, and now my students, I always say they are the light of every day. And they are. They're like these tiny little light bulbs that go around and just make the world so much better of a place. No, don't worry, North Central kids, I still love you guys. But middle school also has its advantages. I love all the grades. That's what I've learned. I've learned that just because somebody is not smiling at you does not mean that they hate you. In fact, I've learned there's a lot of social cues that I'm used to that just don't exist here. So I've learned to like myself. I've stopped looking for the social acceptance of others and started really accepting myself. And in doing that, I've made so many more friends. I've stopped being so scared of everything, and that's been definitely one of the biggest things that I've learned here. I've learned to appreciate the little things in life, like Coca-Cola and French fries, which are not very common. But also, I've learned to appreciate nice weather, which doesn't happen a lot here, and I've learned to not sweat the small stuff, like potholes and rain getting in through my shoes and buses breaking down and a lesson going poorly. Like, that stuff is life. That stuff happens, man. But that doesn't mean that life has to be terrible or things have to be awful or things are going downhill because one day everything went wrong. That's all right because I'm still alive and I have a family and friends. I think that's what Russia's taught me most is, along with the Russian soul, Russians really love people. Like, when they choose to love a friend or they choose to, take care of somebody, that's what they do, not because they're obligated to, but because they want to. And so I think that's what I've learned most since I've got here, is to love the people in my life. Not because I have to, but because I want to. And I want them to see how wonderful they are, how wonderful you are. So I hope I too can one day love as the Russian soul loves. As Gogol said, "No, brothers, to love as the Russian soul loves is to love not with the mind or anything else, but with all that God has given, all that is within you." So that is me saying to you, I love you all. I hope you have a glorious day, a glorious week until I get to see your beautiful faces. And I hope you know I miss you and I love you and I have learned so much and I appreciate your questions. Please feel free to send me, please feel free to send me more questions anytime. I would love to answer them. I hope this video was shorter than my last one, and I can't wait to make another video next week. I will talk to you later. Bye!